Hi, Julie. I'm really glad we're able to meet again today. How are you feeling?
A bit down.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
Just been a rough week for me not having her here. It's just been rough.
Yeah. You know, kind of natural sometimes to feel this way, um, especially during that grief process. But I do want to let you know that today I'm hoping maybe we could take a step forwards, um, understanding just a little bit more about how that situation or experience might be affecting you. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm really glad to hear that. But before we go any further, I just want to emphasize to you that this process is it's all about you. Everything that you share with me is important, and we're just going to take it one step at a time. One thing that I do want to complete in our session today is a diagnostic measure which is going to provide me with more insight into your experience and how it may be manifesting for you. So sometimes we use this assessment to track symptoms and to help us understand what's going on maybe underneath the surface. I'm going to be using the PCL5, which is called the Post Traumatic Stress Disorder or PTSD checklist. Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't, no.
That's okay. I'll walk you through it. It's kind of a standard tool that we use in our field, which helps us understand how your certain symptoms of the experience, like intrusive memories, avoidance, or heightened arousal, might be showing up in other areas of your life or just in your life in general. It kind of gives us a clearer picture of your current experience. And I just want to say it's not a test, so there's no right or wrong answer here. It's just kind of a tool that will help me understand where you're at. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Great. Okay. So this assessment is going to be made up of 20 questions, and they're going to focus on the different symptoms that are associated with PTSD. I'll ask you each question, and then I'm going to ask that you give me a score. That score is going to be out of five options, ranging from 0 to 4. So, 0 is going to be not at all. And then 1 is going to be a little bit. 2 would be considered moderate. 3 is quite a bit. And then 4 is extreme. And don't worry about memorizing that. I can remind you as we go further throughout the assessment today. Um, but I do want to talk to you a little bit more about how this tool can help us. So, with the responses to this assessment, I will be able to take this as we go forward with our sessions to kind of see where you progress. But remember that you're at the pace, so we can go at your own speed. We could take a break. Just let me know, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready to start?
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm just going to remind you of those scores. It's 0 for not at all, 1 for a little bit, 2 is moderate, 3 is quite a bit, and then 4 is that extremely score. So within the past month, how often have you been bothered by the following? Repeated disturbing and unwanted memories of the accident?
4.
Okay, thank you for that. It sounds like this may be something that has been present for you, but not overwhelming at this time. That's important for me to know. So, within the past month, again, how often have you been bothered by the following? Repeated disturbing dreams of the stressful experience?
Every day. Was that 5?
4 would be
4. I'm sorry.
extremely. No worries. like I said, you don't have to be in charge of remembering that. I can remind you as we go throughout the assessment.
Okay.
So, within the past month, how much have you been bothered by suddenly feeling or acting as if the experience were happening again? So, if you were actually back there reliving it.
3,
Okay. And then within the past month, how often have you been bothered by the following? Feeling upset when something reminded you of the accident?
3,
Okay. Now, how often within the past month have you been bothered by having strong physical reactions when something may have reminded you of the accident? This could be sweating in the palms, armpits, trouble breathing, or feeling like you have a heavy chest.
every day. 4,
Within the past month, how often have you been bothered by avoiding memories, thoughts, or feelings related to the accident?
4,
And then, how often have you been bothered by avoiding external reminders of the accident? That could be people involved or a place, maybe activities.
that one's a little harder for me to answer just because
Okay.
I'm really close with her family, but
Yeah.
I'll say probably a 3 for that.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that information. It's going to be important later on when I'm going to be selecting the best intervention that will work with you. So going forward, in the past month, how often have you been bothered by trouble remembering important parts of the stressful experience?
I remember that day like it was yesterday.
Oh, I appreciate you sharing that with me. It must be, difficult navigating this right now. Um, how often have you been bothered by having strong negative beliefs about yourself or other people or maybe even the world?
4,
And then within the past month, how often have you been bothered by blaming yourself or someone else for the accident or what happened afterwards?
4,
Okay. We're halfway through. So, next question: how often have you been bothered by having strong negative feelings like fear or anger, maybe guilt or shame?
4,
Okay. Um, how often have you been bothered by a loss of interest in activities that you used to enjoy?
4.
And then next one, how often have you been bothered by feeling distant or cut off from other people?
3,
Okay. In the past month, how often have you been bothered by trouble experiencing positive feelings? So being unable to feel happiness or having loving feelings for people close to you?
2.
Okay. So we're almost done. I appreciate you sharing all this vulnerable information with me. In the past month, how often have you been bothered by feeling irritable, maybe even having angry outbursts or acting aggressively towards others?
3,
Okay. Like I said, no right or wrong answers, just kind of how you feel about it. In the past month, how often have you been bothered by taking too many risks or doing things that could cause you harm?
I would say 1 just because I'm not really doing anything.
You're doing great. We're almost there. In the past month, how often have you been bothered by being super alert, on guard, or maybe even watchful?
4,
And then, have you been feeling jumpy or easily startled within the past month?
No, that's probably a two.
Okay, just a couple more questions here. How often have you been bothered by having difficulty concentrating in the past month?
Three. It depends on the day.
Yeah, I can understand. I can see that. Last question. How often have you been bothered by trouble falling asleep or maybe staying asleep?
Four.
Okay. I appreciate you sharing all that information with me. I do want to say that, this information is exactly what we're aiming for. This assessment is just going to be a part of our work here together with each other. And it gives me valuable insight into how your experience may be showing up in your life right now. It is really important that you've been able to identify these things. And it's okay if some of these things feel heavy. We're going to take things slow, and every step is going to be a positive one. I do just want to take a couple moments now to check in with how you're feeling and if you're okay to continue and move forward.
Yeah, I feel okay. I just feel a little overwhelmed.
Yeah, it it can be a lot of information. Why don't we take a minute to look at, some things that may be right by you as you're sitting. Maybe it's um, your blanket that you had chosen was your comfort, or a
Yeah, I
pillow.
do have that over here. Yeah.
Okay. Remind me, what color is it?
It's gray.
Oh, nice. Is it really soft or light, heavy?
It's light and soft.
Nice. Those are the best because then you can kind of feel them. They're not too heavy to where you get too hot, but it's just enough to provide you some safety and sense of comfort, right?
Yeah, it does help.
Absolutely. Is there anything else by you?
Um, I have a pillow right here. I usually will put it behind my back if I feel like I need it.
Awesome. How do you feel now, Julie?
I feel just a tad anxious, but not as overwhelmed.
Are you feeling okay to move forward?
Mhm.
Great. I'm going to make sure that we take things at your own pace and make sure that things feel manageable for you. So now that we have gotten that assessment out of the way, we can talk a little bit about, what those responses mean and how they may align with the goals that you had discussed you have for therapy. But I do want to make sure, that you do feel supported. And now that you're not as overwhelmed, how do you feel about the overall therapy process?
So far, it's not bad. Um, Still hesitant just because of how I was raised, but I'm here trying.
Yeah. I'm really glad that you're finding this maybe a little bit helpful. We're going to continue to work together to understand, these patterns that you discuss from your childhood. And from here, we'll create a plan that feels supportive to you. So thank you for your openness today. And next time, we'll start to explore some more specific strategies to help you manage what's showing up for you within your symptoms. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, awesome. I'll be here to support you every step of the way. So let's, before we go, do a little bit of grounding together. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
So just like last week, we are going to put our feet onto the floor. We're going to press them into the ground. But at the same time, after you feel that sensation, we're going to focus on our breath going in and out for a total of 4 breath cycles. Okay. Are you ready to do it together?
I am.
Okay. Let's do it. So breathe in and out and in and out. Halfway there. In and out. And then in again and out. How do you feel?
I feel more relaxed.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. So these techniques, mindfulness and then breathing exercises put together can be very beneficial and helpful for us when we're feeling really anxious or overwhelmed or maybe even stressed out. So I'm glad that helps you today.
Me too.
I look forward to seeing you and let's schedule an appointment for next week to pick things back up.
That sounds good.
Okay. Have a great day, Julie. Bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye.